Three, two, one. What's up, guys? How's it going? Hey, welcome to the Jason J. Daniels Show. What a crazy day. So much crazy stuff going on in the world. Let's see. We've got 95-year-old celebrities, iconic actors just dying. Okay, with their wife and their dog. Gene Hackman dies the night before the Epstein catfish files are released. We've got uh, obviously the biggest catfish in probably since Geraldo Rivera. Okay, it's pretty groovy though. I got to tell you, it was nice to have the euphoria of maybe something interesting is going to happen with the Jeffrey Epstein thing. Maybe we had a little bit of a head rush, didn't materialize. People are freaking out. Now there's even more pressure to get some kind of files to the rabid dogs, which is us, the people. There's really no good reason for this, honestly, to obsess over these Jeffrey Epstein files, other than we're just sick people. We are a sick society. We are just fucking sick. We're pathetic, man. My name is Jason J. Daniel. Um, if you're watching this, we're streaming live on the old Rumble machine. Oh, I see myself. Let me make sure I'm okay. Cool. I had to just check to make sure my audio was good. We're live on the old X machine, on the old Rumble machine, on the old YouTube machine. I've been shadow banned on YouTube, but my numbers are growing. So thank you. If you could please subscribe. I'm just going to put it out here right now because I'm self-serving. If you could please subscribe to my YouTube or my Rumble, that will make me feel fantastic. Thank you. So yeah, welcome to my show. Let's talk about the ghost in the room. Let's talk about the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein, who is fucking laughing at us. He is looking down. No, I'm sorry, looking up from hell, in his hell room, on his hell throne, because this guy clearly has demonic power over us, the nation, the world. He is laughing at us. The ghost of Jeffrey Epstein is in control of this clearly, because no matter what we do to try to crack the code on this, he fucking beats us. He beats us every time. He's beaten Trump. The only person that's beaten Trump so far is Trump, grabbed by the pussy, and Trump, and Epstein's ghost. The only two things that could stop Trump right now, because Trump was on a roll, serious momentum, and then this happens, which was completely unnecessary. This is a total party foul. This is beer pong gone wrong. This is leaving your beer out to get warm. This is not finishing your drink and handing it in. This is going home early when they're spiking the punch. This is an absolute party foul. They did not need to do this, an unforced error. They didn't have to do this Epstein bullshit today, but they did. Now, maybe something good will come of it, but I don't know, man. I'm just concerned that, sorry, I'm getting over a cold. I'm just concerned that Gene Hackman thought, maybe I'm on that list. He's so old. He's probably like, am I on that list? I don't know. Have I been to that island? I don't remember. I'm 95. I don't remember anything. I'm as old as Dick Van Dyke. I thought Dick Van Dyke would go first. So Gene Hackman's found dead. The reports vary. I'm wondering, was he on the Epstein list? That's the first thing I wondered. Holy shit, did he pack it in? You know, his wife died too. Terrible stuff. They're still trying to figure that out. There was a pill spilled everywhere. The dog was gone. They were in two different rooms. Now there's reports saying that they had been dead for weeks. I don't know, man. But I just kind of wondered. So the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein is making fools of all of us, honestly. And if you don't know who he is, there he is. There's old Jeffrey. Look at that smirk. He's always got that smirk on his face in all these pictures. This guy is an absolute terrible human being, and he facilitated one of the largest sex trafficking rings in the entire world. Most of the women were, I guess, underage or children. I'm not sure on a lot of the details. They're really fuzzy, but we do know he had an island. He had a jet. If you're kind of new to this, and if you're younger, I'm just going to say this has been going on for 10 years. Jeffrey Epstein's been dead for like 4 or 5, right? Or something like that. And sorry, carbonation. He's been dead for a while, and his accomplice was arrested in New York. She was tried. Keep this in mind because the today's party foul, today's error, unforced error by the Trump administration and Pam Bondi and cash money, this was essentially connected to the New York trial. So Jeffrey's in jail. He dies in jail, mysterious circumstances. If you don't know about this, then Google it. That's probably the best way to learn about this really fast. But if you're watching this, you probably know about the story. But a lot of what was redacted, what we saw today, we'll get into that, was for the trial. So it was all evidence in the trial that had never been officially released. That's the problem, is that there were so many people implicated in this that have high moral standard, high royalty. There's royalty people involved, people that big time actors, politicians, extremely powerful people. And we'll go through the list of some of these people that were connected to Epstein. It seems like everybody in Hollywood or like the New York scene or kind of like old money, rich people were involved in Epstein's island trafficking thing, or at least on the plane. I mean, some of these names may surprise you. I'll bring up some of these names that have been brought up over the years and we have forgotten about them. And what's really crazy is the media wants to make a big deal about this right now, but we know a lot of these names they could dig into, and they have, but nothing has happened with some of these big names. But the media has moved on to Trump, obviously the election, Harris, the demise of the Democrats. You've got the J6 controversy. There's all sorts of things that the media has actually focused on rather than Jeffrey Epstein. So Jeffrey's arrested. He dies mysteriously in jail, right? They say he suicided. It doesn't look like he wasn't. I'll just say that. And then his accomplice, Giselle Maxwell. I don't keep track of these people, guys. I'm not that invested, so I might get some of these names wrong. But anyway, she was his female accomplice, and she was getting a lot of this, I guess, grooming and getting a lot of the young girls involved in this. Now, if you're watching this and you're saying, Jason, you're getting the info wrong, sorry, I don't keep track of all the high-profile sex trafficking syndicates in the world. I'm sorry. Jeffrey Epstein's not on my radar, but he is now. So let's talk about that. I just want you to know his ghost is winning. This was the biggest catfish. I'm just stunned. I'm really stunned at how big of a catfish this was. So we've got Pam over here. We got Pam right here. Pam goes on Fox News the night yesterday, right? And says, we're going to release all the files. And they ran on this. Trump ran on it. She talked about it. Kash Patel talked about it on social media. These guys made a thing of it, okay? They said there's all these things being held back by the New York FBI. The FBI is corrupt. I agree with those two things, by the way. And that's part of the problem. The FBI is seriously corrupt. We all know this. And, if you elect Trump and if you get us, you give us the power, we're going to release the hounds and we're just going to expose everybody. It was just this whole religious fervor to get the Epstein logs, the files, the phone records, all this shit. Now, there's a lot of shit that we haven't seen. There's hard drives and cameras. We know this. We know there must be photos and videos. We know this. Okay, there's an evidence list. Okay, fair enough. I'm jumping ahead. So we've got everybody campaigning on this. And finally, so it's been 40 days or some shit, and everybody's like, okay, we want Trump. Now, look, to Trump's credit, he's been working like a demon and getting everything. You might call him a demon, but he's been working like a demon and trying to use executive power like no one has ever done, probably since Lincoln, honestly, in the history of the United States, to just make things happen virtually overnight with executive orders. So he's knocking shit out of the park. We got stuff going on I'm kind of exhausted by everything going on. It's hard to keep up with it. And so now we get to these kind of things, like the fun stuff, right? Now they're going to release the Martin Luther King files, the JFK files, all the assassination files on Trump, or the attempted assassination files on Trump, all the assassination stuff they're going to release. Anything the FBI or CIA, NSA has, they have committed to release it because we've taken over the government, right? We being the Trump administration, they're saying we've taken it over, so we shouldn't have a problem releasing this stuff, right? Well, wrong. Because today, the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein wins again. He's winning again, and we get catfish. So Pam Bondi comes out, and she comes out on Fox News, and she's like, "Hey, we're gonna make this happen. We're going to release the files." So we're waiting, and she says we're doing it tomorrow. Okay, so we're waiting all day. It's like Christmas Eve. People are tweeting it. Everybody, well, posting it on X. Everybody's excited, right? Everybody's, can't wait. We've been waiting, and I'm kind of going, well, what do we haven't seen here? Because we know some of the big names. I'm going to bring some of the names up in a second. We know some of these people, and I'm like, okay, groovy, man. I mean, if you can give me something new, I'm cool. But so much stuff is leaked. What's new? We're all saying the same thing. We're all thinking, what's new? Well, it turns out there's nothing new. Nothing fucking new. All there is a bunch of social media influencers getting binders. They were at some meeting. They release a lot of it through these cats, but they didn't have anything breaking. So for a few hours, it was just pictures and posts on X and on TikTok or whatever social following, Instagram, of GOP or MAGA or conservative type influencers that have a lot of power on social media. Make no mistake, these guys do. They were at the White House meeting with the president over social media today, and they gave them these binders with copies of stuff that we already know. I looked through it. I'm sure you've seen it by now. And they also officially released it on the Justice Department website. So one of the things you have to understand is, even though this stuff is leaked and a lot of people are disappointed because it's the same stuff, okay, a lot of redacted stuff, but it's the stuff that was redacted for the New York federal court trial for Epstein's buddy, Maxwell. Yeah, Justine. So Giselle, I'm sorry, I get her name mixed up, but you know what I'm talking about. So it was for her trial. So a lot of stuff's redacted because there's a lot of innocent people in there, and there's a lot of people that made deals, honestly, to be redacted. Let's just be real. And that's part of the problem. That's what we're seeing here. Is there are people on this in this information who made deals in order to prosecute, help them prosecute Epstein's friend. So these people have deals. They have to be redacted. And it's some of the juicy stuff. Now, I don't know this other than I know this. You know that this is what this is. And obviously, the FBI in New York are holding stuff back. So Pam, I guess, asked for everything, right? She asked for everything to be delivered by the FBI, and they didn't deliver it, apparently. So they're acting like they're stuck holding the bag. So they're having to release it in chunks. So this was the first chunk today, and I guess they're calling it phase one. And I mean, okay, but I guess they have to do it in some political fashion, bureaucracy. They have to release it, for posterity on, officially. So the stuff that's already been leaked now has been cataloged. It's been officially released. Now I looked through it, and I've seen it before, and it's been years, but it reminded me of who's on the list. So we're going to get into who's on the list. By the way, I am His Grace the Goat Targaryen on X, so please follow me there. And guys, please subscribe, man. I appreciate that. So who's on that list? We'll get into that. So what happened was a bunch of conservative influencers were at the White House, like I said. Okay. And there's a photo. I do have this photo here. I'm going to show you. There's a photo of here we go. These douchebags. Okay, right here. So here we go. We got these douchebags. These are all people that are, and I'm calling them douchebags because I'm just having fun with them. I don't have a problem with them. Look, they're winning. They're winning, and the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein are winning because they got these binders here, and these binders looked all official, and they walk out, and there's photographers out there because it's a big day at the White House. There's world leaders there today connected. The Ukraine war was a thing they were talking about. So these folks come out, and they're waving these binders around, and they're like, yay. And the media's like, wait a second. We thought Pammy was going to drop it. We thought Pam was going to drop the heat and maybe a press conference. What the hell? You yahoos. So everybody's like, what? So that was hyper confusing. So these yahoos walk out completely orchestrated. This, you don't just, okay, we're walking out in front of photographers. If you've ever done media, like a lot of you might have, or I have done, nothing is an accident when you get in front of a camera. you know, unless you're being secretly recorded by a news camera, local news media with video cameras. There's no red light on these cameras. That's just a misnomer, at least not now. So you can get a camera in your face and not realize it. That's a thing. Okay. But if there's a press pool out there and you're at the White House, there's press everywhere. You know you're going to be in front of cameras. So these cats go out and do this thing, this photo op, and it causes a firestorm with all of the other conservative douchebag influencers. And so it becomes, instead of, okay, this is the first drop, what do we got here? Okay, let's talk about it. Yes, most of it's redacted. Okay, cool, we're going somewhere. It turns into a war of jealousy with all of these GOP quote unquote influencers, which you know half of them are just fake, and it's branding, it's fine. A lot of them just don't even believe what they say. It's whatever. But these influencers just were absolutely pathetic today. All they did, instead of attack Epstein, which is who you're supposed to attack, or attack Joe Biden, because let's be real, the Joe Biden administration held on to this for 4 or 5 years, okay? And they didn't release it. In fact, that's called covering it up. They could have released it. We now know how fast things can be done in our federal government because of what Trump and his team are doing. So we know things can get out there fast. And in the case of today, maybe too fast. But why are we upset at the people who have only had this shit for 40 days, but we're not mad at the people who had it for 4 years, right? It is what it is. It's never going to make sense with this stuff. They're all just fucking posturing to get money and views and prestige, and then end up doing this, right? End up doing this, because this is what this gets you now, being a social media influencer and being on the internet. Look, we're all doing it. We all have a message. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I've got a message. Look, I'm doing this for free. I am monetized. I don't make a ton of money. I don't make enough money to compel me to do this. I do this because I enjoy it. Plus, I feel like I have a voice and I have a message I want to get out there, and I have an audience that I'm building, and I'm having a good time. But I don't know why these folks call themselves influential if they cry about other people beating them to the punch. I mean, they're running their mouths on the internet about the Biden administration and supporting the Trump administration, but when they don't get the freebie that the Trump administration gave out, they're running down the Trump administration and running down their other influencers. I got to be honest with you. The liberal attack dogs, the anarchists, are pathetic, but they don't necessarily do that to each other. They stay together. So I don't understand why this social media group of attack dogs, who've completely supported the MAGA movement, now we're attacking each other, other than greed. I mean, it's greed and they're fake. And I don't know why you wouldn't be just attacking the Biden administration, going, hey, you guys redacted this. You guys made deals with people in New York, with the Newark FBI. It's your fault. And it is their fault. It's the Biden administration's fault that this went on this long. But maybe there isn't anything there, man. Maybe there is nothing there. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's just nothing there. Maybe there's no there. Maybe this really isn't going to get any bigger than it already has. I mean, and it's a weird line. Like, it's weird. It's gone on so long. A lot of the victims haven't gotten, I guess, their justice from it. I guess. I don't know. I don't keep that much track. But people are more mad at the system and at the people, like, distributing the information, than they're mad at the bad guys. Again, Jeffrey Epstein's ghost is laughing at us from hell right now. He's laughing. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. We know the FBI is corrupt. I mean, come on. That's a shock to you. That's a shock to you. So now they're scrambling. Like right now while this is streaming live. By the way, we're streaming live on X, streaming live on Rumble, and live on YouTube. So thanks for watching, guys. So right now, as we are doing this, there is panic in the GOP and in the Trump administration. Cash put out a tweet I'll find his tweet. I think it's interesting. Let me see. I'll show it to you. Cash put out a tweet. Let's see here. Cash Money. I do love his name though. I wish I had his name. I tell you what, that's a superhero name. Um, it's totally dope. Okay, so 3 hours ago, let me share my screen here. Let me go to presentation mode. All right, cool. Share. Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay. Whoop. Sorry, I got to switch. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. So, Cash says the FBI is entering a new era, one that will be defined by integrity. Now, this is 3 hours ago, right about an hour after the whole disappointment today. Integrity, accountability, and the unwavering pursuit of justice. There will be no cover-ups. Okay, well, okay. No missing documents. We're missing documents, baby. And no stone left unturned. Something tells me you left some fucking stones unturned. And everybody from the prior or current bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued. If there are gaps, we will find them. If records have been hidden, we will uncover them. We are not doing that now, so get popping. And we will bring everything we find to the DOJ to be fully assessed and transparently disseminated to the American people as it should be. That line makes me nervous. I'm just going to be honest. The guy was a firebrand. The guy was saying, hey, we're going to flip the apple cart over. We're going to release all the documents. But now he said something in this tweet this post that's absolutely political animal-like and sounds like the old crew. And we will bring everything we find to the DOJ to be fully assessed. Okay. Well, what does that mean? And transparently disseminated. Those two words don't make sense to me. To the American people, putting them together, they make sense, but putting them together to the American people as it should be. Is he meaning as it should be done? Like, praise the Lord, this is what we should be doing, like an evangelist, or as it should be, as in, as our bureaucracy says it should be done. See, this kind of stuff makes me nervous, man. I am a guy, and I'll finish this post. The oath we take is to the Constitution under my leadership, blah, blah, blah. What else? I thought he said something else. Maybe this was his. No, I guess he's just reposting all his buddies and shit. Okay, cool. I thought there was a different one. Anyway, so that made me nervous. That really made me nervous. I forgot to take my graphic off. Sorry about that. That really just made me nervous that just the way he wrote that. I just feel like that's something that you would say if you just aren't sure what you can release and you're going to have to play the game. I don't know. Look, like I was about to say, I'm an apple cart turner over of apple carts. Oh, by the way, the live chat's popping. Nobody in the chat, but I just want to check. I like to turn the apple cart over. I'm a libertarian. I'm an independent. I'm a big Robert Kennedy guy. Okay, that's kind of gives you a feel for where I'm at. But I'm a guy that likes to just break the system down. I'm all for everything that they're doing to clean house. I'm totally for it. I'm sorry. I feel no sympathy for anybody that's been in the government for 4 years doing any kind of job, because it's been a fucking mess and it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. The tax bracket I'm in and the tax bracket you're in, you should be enraged. Like I'm more than 20%. You should be enraged with what not only we are seeing with the waste, fraud, and abuse that we knew that was there, but we had no clue how bad it was. But the fact that all of these people that have been in our government working jobs, getting paid by us, okay, in most cases, why wouldn't they be through taxpayer funds, are acting like they can't be subject to what we're subject to every day as average Americans, where if our industry goes down and someone comes in and decides to clean house, we just live with it. But these cats don't live with it. They can't live with it. They don't want to go to the office. They don't want to. It's pathetic. I don't care how you feel about Elon or Trump. I don't care how you feel. But I think it's so disrespectful to say that to answer an email about what you've done in the week, that's one thing a day, dude. 5 things in a week. That's nothing. It's a heat check. If you guys are mad about this, you're just, I guess either working for the government and you're losing your job, or you're living in a reality that is completely false. That is not the real world, and that is the problem. Is the government lives in a fake, phony world where they live like kings and queens off of our money. I will never move away from that point of view until we see equality financially for the entire country. I mean, goddamn, we're sending $100 billion to that little gangster Zelensky who can't keep a calculator or a checkbook right, and we have people struggling in our country to eat. Children don't have proper food in some areas. They don't have good schools, roads. We've got corrupt local government. People are just taking our money and squandering it and living it up. And then if you're in the government and you're working these really nice jobs and nice benefits, you have the audacity to tell us that you shouldn't be accountable for being paid by taxpayers, or that we should give money to a war to kill people, innocent people, all in a war in the war in Europe. Look, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just frustrated by it. You know where I'm going. That 100 billion could have made us better as a country. I'm not saying I want a kickback per se. That's not bad if they're going to give us a $5,000 check or whatever it is as a payback. I don't think that's bad. I'm not against it, for it. I'll see it when it gets here, I guess. But goddamn, man, we don't need to be creating more wars in the world. I'm sorry. So if you don't like what I'm saying, it's cool. It's my opinion. Look, you should just look, when I tell you or anybody tells you we don't want innocent people killed in a war, you should say that's groovy, man. Right on. Why would you want us to engage in a war when it's not hurting us at all? Russia's not hurting us. It's a fantasy, guys, an absolute fantasy. You're being fed by a lot of old dinosaurs that are struggling to hold on to power in the mainstream media because they are finished. And then you've got all these younger folks just trying to get publicity, trying to get promoted through social media algorithms and by these out of date out of touch, out of date companies, and they will co-opt this message that Russia's evil and that Zelensky's a hero and that Trump's the devil and all this stuff that they want to put into your mind. I'm not telling you not to believe those things. I'm telling you to free your mind and believe for yourself. That's why I do this, because you have to be told. I have to be told. We all have to constantly remind ourselves that we are in a huge psyop here. And I know I sound like a tinfoil hat guy, but they are completely trying to manipulate us and to get us to believe a narrative so they can smoke screen it and steal our money. That's what's been happening. Okay. I guess I didn't expect to get on that rant, but I was ranting. So we'll just put the picture of the dbags back up. But they didn't have a press conference today, which I think is completely interesting to me, unless I missed it. But that's weird about the Epstein files. I mean, Trump did some stuff. They didn't do an Epstein file press conference just to explain what they were doing. Instead, they're trying to play catch up and fix this huge PR nightmare. This was an unforced error. It would have been a lot better to not have even done it, or at least taken more time. Nobody would have twisted their arm, but instead they tried to rush it. I don't know, because Trump said do it now. I don't know. They rushed it. And then what happens is the ghost of this guy is laughing at us because he's sitting around. We're still talking about him. We still can't crack the code. Most of the people that he put in jeopardy through this sex trafficking or cabal, they're still free doing their thing. I mean, some people have passed away, I'm sure, because there was a lot of old coots involved in this, but a lot of them are still doing their thing. Now, some of them, we'll talk about that right now. Let's just get into that. Some of them have gotten into their own trouble and their reputations are not that good. It is interesting to me as we go through some of these names, you're going to go, oh, that I can see the dark side in these people, right? And now these are names I'm going to bring up that are verified, that they're at least in the documents. In his, he had a contact book, which was released today. You probably saw that. So these are obviously, I just have 6 or 7 names. But I think that these are interesting. I'll finish on the social media influencers. They're just fucking stupid, man. And I'm just really disappointed that all of these conservative influencers are just attacking each other, and they're all jealous. They're jealous. They're spiteful. They're mad. They're mad at these people who got a chance to go to the White House. You guys are just phonies, man. Again, I don't like anarchists on the internet. I don't like the anarchy stuff. I don't like the crazy stuff, the outrageous anarchy stuff. But I have a little bit of rebellion in me, so I'm okay with both. I think both sides need to get their voice. I'm a free speech guy, but just because these guys are in with the White House and they're kissing ass and they got the scoop doesn't mean that they didn't deserve it because they kissed ass and got the scoop. Come on, that's the way the game is played. Instead, they're just getting attacked. It's just what it is doing though, because these people do have influence. What it is doing, the drama is doing, it's taking away from the fact there was a serious crime committed by this lunatic here, and people are still getting away with it. And why is it important that we crack the code on this and find out who was involved in this? Well, I mean, I think there's a part of it that's important to know, like if there are high people in our government or actors or people in the arts that we trust that are part of a sex trafficking ring with underage girls. I think it's important that that's called out. Obviously, people have to be prosecuted. That's super important. That's the biggest thing. Justice. Victims have to have their justice. There needs to be accountability. This should never happen again. Those kind of things. But also the corruption in the government that let this go on, because you'll see a lot of government officials hung out with this guy. There's some names that I'll give you at the end that I don't have, the pictures of them actually, but there's a lot of people in high levels of government. Obviously, the royal family was hanging out with Epstein on his jet. He was flying everybody around. I guess the Epstein jet was a thing, man. It was something that everybody kind of was a part of. He was at all the parties, and now I guess his ghost is still there. He's still in the White House. Everybody's thinking about it. Everybody's thinking about Epstein. He is one of the most famous names, infamous names out there with everybody else that's infamous. He's one of the worst criminals in history. And what's wild is we still can't crack the code on the stuff that he did completely. Now, in the files, there are, if you look at the files, there's an evidence list, and it's got it's maybe 300, 400, could be more lines of things like flash drive, hard drive, camera. We're talking hard evidence here that they have documented, but we got a binder of stuff we've already seen, and some of the pages were heavily redacted. There's a list of, I guess their thing was they had masseuses, and they were hiring, again, I don't know all the details, I could be wrong, but they were hiring young women to be masseuses, and they were calling them masseuses, massage therapists, and they were paying them, next to nothing, had it on their books like they were employed as contractors. Again, if I'm getting it wrong, put in the comments what I'm missing here. I'm just giving you the cliff notes. And these were the women they were exploiting, and that they were being, sexually assaulted and trafficked. So it's such a terrible thing. And, it makes me take a step back and, think about that. It's all about that. And that's why I'm just like, why did the Biden administration do nothing? They sat on it. And Epstein, no one's really investigated Epstein dying. That's not been a thing that they've decided to investigate. I get it. Nobody cares that he's dead, but his ghost is still laughing at us while he's chilling with the devil, man. Oh, man. Dude kills me, man. It really does kill me that. And it's not funny, but I'm chuckling because it kills me because he's getting away with it, man. Okay, so I'm going to keep his picture up because I think it's going to be interesting. You can watch his picture while we go through this. Here we go. Let's jump to who is connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Who is connected to this guy? I'm gonna change the banner to put it on the bottom there. So I know I am my own producer, guys. I'm doing this all myself. I produce my own stuff. Until we blow up and become an influencer where I can be petty and petulant and greedy, I'm not there yet. I have to do it myself. So we're still on our presentation. Let's see here. Okay, let's go through the names. Here's a big name for you. Here you go. Billy Gates, man. Billy Gates is on the list. Oh, maybe that's why I should put it on top. Here we go. Let me edit that again. So Bill Gates, man, he is mega connected to Epstein. Just Google it. There were articles on it. The New York Times did big articles before he was divorced. Bill Gates has spent a lot of time with Epstein, and apparently he was having affairs or some sort of affair connected to the Epstein lifestyle. His wife, Bill Gates' wife, divorced him because of it. That's on the record. And Bill Gates just came out a week or two ago and said, I think it was a couple of weeks, that he was being blackmailed by Jeffrey Epstein. So that's why, he had to lay low and all that stuff. None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense, but there's that. Okay. So you've got Bill Gates, man. That's wild. Let's see here. Who else is on the list? Let's go here. Here we go. This one's a fun one. David Blaine, the magician. Yeah. You can do magic while you're flying on the plane with Jeffrey Epstein. This cat is in his day book. Now, I'm not sure if he's on the flight logs, but David Blaine, I guess I'll have to, let's take old Jeffrey off here. It makes it easier. But David Blaine was chilling in his book. So there's a contacts list, or there's a day book, a contacts list, and he's in it. If you don't know who he is, he's the magician that does really weird, kind of mystical, kind of freak out magic stuff, right? Like he does this thing where he swallows frogs, keeps them in his body for a while. There's I guess some place in your throat where you can hold stuff. It's weird shit. And then he spits frogs out on demand. He's done stuff where he's been, I guess, gone without oxygen or gone without sleep. He does like physical body stuff. But Mr. Blaine is on the list. Okay, there's one for you there. Who else is on? Well, he's on the list, meaning that he's in the book. Okay, so if you're in the book, you hung out with Epstein. Okay, it's gonna get a little more interesting, guys. Hang in there with me. We got this one's a fun one. Alec Baldwin, your friend and mine, who might end up killing you if you're not careful. Alec Baldwin has actually killed people. I'm not trying to be flippant. I'm just being honest. He's actually killed people. He's a real serious left-wing ideologue. He used to do a lot of Trump stuff. He hates Trump, big Trump hater, but a very, very good actor. One of my favorite actors. He's one of my favorite actors. And guy bounced back from a tough situation. He's probably got a lot of legal bills and obviously lawsuits from the killing. But he was on trial for manslaughter, got off. And he's a free man. But he's in the book as well. He's in the Rolodex. That's an old word for, and now you have your iPhone. Back in the day, we had a Rolodex. Back in the day, we actually didn't have our phones, didn't have a phone to keep your number in. We actually had to write it down. So he's also in the book. That's wild. Let's see here. Now it's going to get chippy. Hang on to your hats, guys. I'll give you a fun one. I'll give you another comedian. Yeah. David Copperfield, another comedian. You may not know him because he's almost 80. He's been around for a while. He is an older comedian. I'm sorry, magician. Did I say comedian? I meant to say magician. David Copperfield was the biggest magician in the world before David Blaine and some of these other guys came onto the scene. As you can see, he's been around for a while. He's like an icon in magic, but he went through a serious period, I think it was maybe 15 years ago, where he was being sued for sexual assault. You may not know that. He actually had an island. It wasn't the Epstein Island, but he had his own island or something. And the guy was super mega rich. And he was taking women to his island, and they started suing him, saying that he was forcing himself on them. So he started laying low after that, but he still does his thing. People still love him. There you go. You got good old David Copperfield. Okay. So are you ready for some fun? Let's get into it. Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, who is obviously had a lot of problems, and he's really struggling to stay out of bankruptcy. I guess he did file. He went through a lot of sexual misconduct allegations. Who would not know that, right? So Kevin Spacey, the last 8 years, he's been fighting off his own charges, and I think that's now he's been successful, and he's been found innocent from everything he's been accused of. So in my book, he's clean, you know. But speaking of books, he is on the flight log. And in fact, in the recent interviews where he is trying to rehabilitate his image, and I don't say that sarcastically, he's trying to do that, and he's responding to accusations, and he's winning in court. He took some flights with Bill Clinton. We'll get there in a second. And he had to come out and say, I just went on these flights, and we didn't go to the island. So I guess Epstein would be, this is what his story was. Epstein would be like, hey, you want to get picked up? We're going on. They would go around the country doing stuff, and then they would go overseas and do stuff and pick people up on the way. So that's why a lot of these celebrities were on the list. This is what the story they're giving us, is that the celebrities were all, hey, you want to go? We're on this plane. No big deal. Sure. And they'd go to Vegas and pick up a celebrity or a politician. And then they'd kind of have a party plane, and they just add people to it. Sounds perfectly reasonable, except I don't know the last time you would be picked up on a sex trafficking party plane, and how you end up there and then say, well, I didn't know what was going on. I mean, look, I don't know. I don't live in that world, but that's what was happening. So Kevin Spacey swears that they got off before it went to the island. So he said him and Bill Clinton went on a few of these junkets overseas, and they visited some big time people, right? They visited the royalty and all that. And he was with Clinton, but they came back, or they got off the plane before it went to the island. Okay. And he would say, well, we saw some young girls on the plane, but we didn't think it was a thing. Okay. So there you go, Kevin Spacey. All right. Again, I'm not casting any judgment on these people. They're all innocent until proven guilty. The only guilty people in this so far that we know of is Epstein and his buddy. But some of this stuff does not look good for some of these cats. Okay, so where are we at here? Okay, I'm going to shake you up a bit. Let's just go to Bill. Let's go to Bill like we were talking about. So we all know Bill Clinton was connected to Epstein probably more than anybody else. On the flight logs multiple times. There's photos of Bill Clinton getting massages. There's a classic photo of him sitting in an airport or something, and a young girl is giving him a massage. We don't know if she's underage. She looks very young in the picture, but it is what it is. Obviously, Bill Clinton, he knows how to party. So what is there to say? We all expect Clinton to not come out squeaky clean, but Bill Clinton clearly was at the island. Kevin Spacey says he never went with Clinton to the island, but somehow Clinton got there numerous times. Also, Bill Gates, I believe, was at the island too. Okay. These last two might, if you're a conservative and if you love the current administration, these last two might really fuck with you. I'm going to be honest. Yes, that's true. What I'm putting up here, RFK went on the plane, and his family did, and he didn't. I believe his family did. But RFK's entire family, including him, they're in the book that was sent in the redacted contact book. So the contact book, there's like 70 pages of all these different phone numbers and addresses. You just see the names of the people. You don't see any phone numbers or addresses, but it's a really old book. So all this stuff's outdated. But his number's in there, and his family's in there. And he had an interview where he had to come out and say, hey, yeah, when he was running for president, before he joined Trump, he had to come out and say, hey, yeah, my family was on the plane, the Epstein plane. Yeah, we're on the flight logs. And I believe he said he didn't go, but he swore they didn't go to the island, but they did fly on his plane. So there you go. So look, I'm still a big RFK guy, but when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, dude, can we have somebody that's not on this fucking plane? How many people rode on this plane, man? It's crazy. Also, Bill Richardson. Here's some notables. Bill Richardson, he was the governor of New Mexico, big Bill Clinton friend. He was getting massages, and he has passed away now. but there's a lot of speculation that that guy was at the island involved in this stuff. You could look him up, Bill Richardson, New Mexico. Oh yeah, Prince Andrew. He's obviously guilty. That cat, one of the royal family guys. There's a lot of royal family people in that book. So yeah, that's so sorry, Bobby. Yeah, it's tough to explain, but I'm going to take your word for it. I'm going to take your word for it. Now here, this last one I'm going to bring up, and we're going to wrap this up because if you've been listening to this so far, God bless you. We got to go with it. We got to go. Donald Trump, man. Trump is in the Rolodex or the address book. Donald Trump's name is in the book. Donald Trump has photos with Epstein at parties. We've seen them. But Donald Trump is not on the flight logs, and there is no way to prove that he actually was at the island. Donald Trump is apparently clear at this point, but his name's in the book. I saw it today. I looked at it. I forgot, yeah, Trump was in the book. Now, there's a lot of celebrities that have pictures with Epstein. It doesn't mean they did anything wrong. If you've ever partied or been to a lot of parties, people walk up and you're drinking, you're hanging out. Now, Trump wasn't drinking, but I'm just saying, you hang out with people and you take pictures with people. You're like, what's up? Or people in your industry or people you haven't seen in a while. That's just the way it works. And with the Diddy stuff, as we're seeing, that's a whole other thing. In the P. Diddy stuff, I mean, for 20 years, people were hanging out with P. Diddy, and there's a picture with him and everybody. Barack, Hillary, Bill. So, if and I'm not defending anybody here, but I'm just saying Trump, out of all the people I just gave you in the list here, the list of the people, I'm going to say Trump and RFK are the ones that are the least removed, and there's no proof they were at the island or were involved in shenanigans. But doesn't mean the other guys were or weren't. It's just that there's a little more evidence towards the other people I gave you than those guys. So there you go. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. That's all I got to say on it. I just think it's crazy that we all got catfished. They should hire the guy from Catfish MTV. They should have him come out and start releasing the next phases, right? One last side note I'll say is they're blaming. So the reason why they didn't have any good evidence or have any of the videos or photos is that it's on the evidence list, but they didn't have that to release, which is what people are expecting, right? They really want to see photos of people on the island, right? They're saying that the New York FBI is holding this stuff back. They're blaming the New York FBI. They're saying that's the deep state, and they're saying there's evidence that's being deleted or erased, and the deep state is operating behind Trump's back. Possibly, anything's possible. I will say this: part of the problem could be, maybe Epstein was an FBI informant. Also, there's Israeli people. I think at the time, one of the presidents of Israel was hanging out with Epstein on the island, verified. So they're saying there's possible connections to Mossad, that Epstein could have been a double agent for the United States, or he could have been working for the UK because he has deep UK ties. But he died. We'll never know. So I think part of the problem could be that he was an informant and gathering information on all of these celebrities, all of these high-powered politicians, and selling that information to Mossad or the CIA or the MI6. Like I know this stuff. It's possible. That could be what we're dealing with. So we got to be a little more open-minded that it's not as easy as get the Xerox copier out, bring over that old banker box of Epstein videos and files, and let's plug it in and download it, and let's print this shit out and hand it to the world. Not that easy. And if there's anybody that could have been an informant, it's a guy that gets suicided in his jail cell and the camera's flipped off. Okay? That's a whole other show. And I'd love to talk about the Jeffrey Epstein murder or suicide or whatever that was with a guest. That would be a lot of fun. to kind of get somebody's viewpoint on that. But hey, there we go. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you very much. Thank you for watching this. I just want to say I've gone on longer than I thought. I got to get to the gym and do some stuff for me. Thanks for watching. My name is Jason J. Daniel. If you're watching this late, please subscribe on YouTube or Rumble. Please smash that subscribe button if you're watching my video or one of my videos. I really appreciate it. If you're watching any of my shorts, anything that you watch, even if you hate me, give me a like or give me a nasty comment. I get thousands, honestly. I have 8,000, almost 8,000 on TikTok. I have a sports TikTok. They hate me all the time on that. I have to turn my notifications off, but sometimes they dive in. But yeah, please subscribe, guys. I appreciate that. And if you're not watching this on X, I am His Grace, the Goat Targaryen, Jason J. Daniel on X. Please follow me on X. That would be cool, man. Or if you could share this video or like it, that would be really helpful. I really appreciate that. If there's anything you watched here that you think is interesting, please like or share. I'm working on getting some really great interviews. I got some great interviews going set up for next week. I'm really excited. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm really excited. So please definitely follow me there. Oh, that's the wrong graphic. I'm my own producer, guys. I work really hard on this. Let's see here. Let's get the sorry here. Let me remove that. And then one last thing. Oh, here we go. I'm also on Snap, IG, and every social media. Eliminate. I don't really put anything on that, but you can follow me everywhere at Jason J. Daniel. Most certainly. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate everything that you everything you've done to contribute to my success. Everyone that's watching this, everybody that's come on and been a guest, those of you that have given me comments, I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day. Take care of yourself, man. And I want to also let you know, as I sign off, that this production is brought to you by Hollywood Zombie Productions. Have a fantastic night. Stay safe.